In the match between Saudi Arabia and Egypt, Paul Mariner is here with me to look back on this one. Now, we knew this one was pretty much a dead rubber, so to speak, as Group A has been wrapped up with Uruguay and Russia going through to the round of 16. But let's just have a look at the table, because this is what sets our theme today. Paul Mariner, Egypt, they're right at the bottom after losing to Saudi Arabia 2-1 today with a late goal. Maris, we expected more from Egypt. Believe it or not, I had them actually going through to the round of 16. So did you. People may be laughing at us now, but going into it and the spirit that was around Egypt and Mo Salah, you expected them to pull off something better.
Absolutely.
What went so terribly wrong?
Well, I think obviously if Salah wasn't fit to play in the first game, look, we talk about it ad nauseum about the first game in the World Cup tournament. If you get 3 points, it takes the pressure off everybody, the fans, the players, the coaching staff, and it didn't happen because he didn't play. Was that a mistake? Could he have played? You know, would he have played? That was the key for me. But it's just the way that they've petered out in the tournament. Absolutely nothing. I had them going through with Uruguay. I was confident that they would go through. I thought dreadful with Russia pre-tournament. They were. They've surprised me also. So maybe there's something going on. Maybe there's something with Salah. You know, we're hearing about stories about the political side of it, with the squad unhappy and so on and so forth. So I'm bitterly disappointed for them. I'm disappointed for myself as well.
I'm very disappointed as well. And like you said, you touched on the fact that there's quite a lot of issues surrounding Mo Salah. He's reportedly threatened to quit the international team after those.
So that tells you how, I mean, look, he's 26. He's in the prime of his career.
Exactly.
So there's obviously something going on. And you don't...
You think that's trickled onto the pitch a lot more?
It's possible. Well, you know, the coach was saying that he wasn't. He was training well and, you know...
And laughing with his teammates, etc.
You know, which is all well and good. It's easy to say. But it didn't transfer onto the field. Yes, he got a goal today, but they were outpossessed 64% today. Egypt against Saudi Arabia, who were absolutely atrocious in the first game against Russia. So, bit of a head scratcher this one. Really is a difficult one to fathom.
Indeed, unfortunate end to the World Cup campaign for Egypt. But congrats to Saudi Arabia for getting that win. I'm sure they'll still be celebrating tonight after that one. For more on the World Cup, you know you can track everything right here at ESPN FC. Group A of the World Cup is officially done and dusted, and Uruguay did it in some style, beating the host nation 3-0. Paul Mariner here with me to look back on this one really quickly. If we have a look at the group standings, you will see that Uruguay now perfect, 3 wins from 3 matches, 9 points, so they top the group, while the host nation Russia have to quote-unquote settle for second, and of course Saudi Arabia and Egypt bow out at this stage. Maraz, this is pretty much how you thought things would go. Save for the Egypt, but we'll get to that later on.
I thought that this game would go the way that it did. I obviously didn't factor in the red card, but having said that, when you look at Uruguay, they always start on the front foot. They always go a goal up. They always put the opposition under pressure. They always defend resolutely. And when you've got Cavani and Suarez up front, massive danger. And that's exactly really how the game panned out. You know, Uruguay haven't conceded a goal yet in this tournament, but they've got that goal threat. They've got goal threat from all different areas, set pieces, open play. They're a very, very solid team, Uruguay, and I think there'll be a danger to some, you know, people in the, you know,
latter stages.
Yeah.
Well, pretty much what we expected then from Uruguay. But let's talk about Russia, because there's been a lot of, I want to say, expectations from the host nation and a lot of hype surrounding them after they started with the 2 very brilliant wins. So is this the real Russia now? We remember Ali Moreno said on the show that he wasn't convinced with Russia despite all the hype because they haven't been tested. Now they had. So does this mean that they've failed?
So, I must admit, going into the tournament, I thought they looked absolutely dreadful. I give them no chance at all in this tournament. But something happened when the tournament began. Yes, they had a nice start to the tournament against Saudi Arabia, hammering them 5-0. But I must admit, I was quietly pleased with them today, because they go down to 10 men and they worked extremely hard. They kept the blocks. There's still a little bit of threat going forward with the big fella up from Zuba. I don't think we have seen the real Russia just yet. We most certainly will see it in the next round. But you know, I'm with Ali to a certain degree. The jury's still out, but I was fascinated to see how hard they worked when they were down to 10 men. And so I'm not writing them off. But they have raised my eyebrows. I didn't think that they would go through.
Well, I don't think it'll get any easier for them after what they have faced today, because in the round of 16, that's where the big boys are. Thanks so much to Paul Mariner. Continue tracking everything from the World Cup and catch our show ESPN FC later on ESPN+. The group stages of the World Cup are wrapping up, and Paul Mariner and I have the tough task of predicting what could happen, because we don't know if they're actually going to happen the way we think things will happen. All right, Maras, let's start off with this one. Australia against Peru.
Peru are finding it difficult to score goals. Australia are not exactly lighting the tournament up. I'm going to be fairly boring and say this is going to be a draw.
Oh, you little fence-sitter, you. Well, Australia have to win this one and hope that France will beat Denmark. They have to win by at least 2 goals if they want to advance. Plus, ESPN FC will be on Australian television tomorrow. I'll be hosting, so I'm going to go with the soccer in this one. Why not? I'm going to pick them to get the couple early goals and then hold off Peru, although Peru just need a lot more help in finishing. And here's this one. Is this one pretty straightforward for you, Mariner? France, Denmark.
I think it is. Denmark, they're not banging goals in left, right and centre. I've been a little bit disappointed with my selection to win it. France, they're not firing on all cylinders for me, even though they are eking out, results. I think they'll start to grow into the tournament, and I'm going with a France victory.
You're not going to see any arguments from me here with this one. I'm going to go with Le Bleu. Now is where things get even more interesting, because this is Argentina's group and we know exactly the state that they are in. But let's start off with Iceland against a high-flying Croatia that's already qualified for the round of 16.
And I think they want to keep the momentum going. I think they want to obviously top the group, which I'm sure they will do. We know exactly how this game's going to go. Iceland are going to sit in. Croatia are going to have all the possession. They've got creativity. Mandzukic will wreak havoc through the middle. The supporting cast of Modric and Rakitic will pull all the strings. Nice game for Croatia. Win.
I think that you just hit the nail on the head for that one. I mean, Croatia against Argentina were just absolutely having a laugh. They were having fun, and it was paying off for them. They're already through. I think they will just definitely finish with another win. Now then, let's get to it, guys. Okay, Nigeria. Those Super Eagles have been flying high in their last game out. Argentina, the pressure is on them. The criticism is on them.
Absolutely.
Everything is on them. Do you expect them to come out and get this
result?
They've
got to do. I mean, the nation is in mourning about this team. The criticism throughout the world. Where's Messi been? So, is he the best player in the world? This tournament, absolutely not. Ronaldo making him look very, very average. Sampoli has got to get the selection right.
Yeah.
It kills me that he can't get his best players in a system to perform for this country. You've got Mascherano in the holding role. He's 34 years of age.
And
can they not find another player from Argentina to play in that position? So I think what he'll do, I think he'll bomb his fullbacks on. I think he'll play Rojo and he'll play Otamendi. He'll get the protection in front. He'll bomb on. Messi will find pockets, and they'll win.
And they'll win.
They've got to win. They've got to win.
They've got to win. Well, someone argued they had to win from the start. All right, well, we'll see. Because the Super Eagles, young team, everyone was waiting for them to come into their own. I thought they did that in the last game. I think they're having fun. They don't really have the pressure. So I'm going to sit on the fence and go for a draw in this one, just because I really don't know. And our great analyst, Mario Kempes, even said we could light all of the candles and say our prayers to all of the saints, and he still doesn't think Argentina will get the result. So if Mario Kempes says that, then I'm going to go with this. Sorry, Argentina fans. Thanks so much to Paul Mariner for this one. Controversial predictions here from us. Continue tracking them to see exactly what happens in these two groups here at ESPN FC.
In the end, they were hanging on.
Well, Ronnie misses a penalty, doesn't he? And that,
indeed.
Which was a penalty, because, again, they went to VAR, which was super busy, but they went to VAR. They got it right. But they just came under pressure, and they're rarely going to dominate teams. They're never really going to dominate games, and they couldn't. In the end, the second half, they couldn't dominate this game against Iran. I think the decision for Ronaldo's yellow card, when VAR took an age to look at the off-the-ball incident, personally, I think it was correct. I think there was contact. The arm did come out, but I don't think it was as violent as some would say. I'm looking at social media, and there's an outcry why he never got a red card. I personally don't think
I have to say, on first look, I thought it was yellow. Then the more I saw the replays, I thought it was a red, and counts himself lucky not just to stay on the pitch, but then continue on in this tournament. But to Portugal's struggles against this Iran, this is exactly the kind of game that Portugal don't want to play.
Right.
They want to be able to sit back and soak up pressure, and they want to be able to hit you on the counter-attack. That's what they do. That's how they won the Euros. That's when Cristiano Ronaldo and this Portuguese team is at their absolute best. But you come up against a team in Iran who are trying to do exactly that. We've spoken about their struggles so far in this tournament, and then all of a sudden you see Portugal kind of lacking for ideas, unable to get Ronaldo on the ball as he wants, and as a result, struggled. Could have killed the game off, didn't, and then Iran came to life.
Well, we've talked about Messi and him missing a penalty, right? Well, we got to talk about Ronaldo and him missing a penalty, because this was an opportunity to really just calm the game down. Just take the energy out of the game. The moment that penalty is not scored by Ronaldo, the save is made, then Iran feels like they have life. And you could see that they were first to every ball, and they were first to every single rebound, and then now they're getting numbers forward. And even though they're limited in the attack, you couldn't help but feel like Iran was going to get an opportunity. They get the penalty, and then they had a real chance. The ball pops out to the left-hand side, and it's one of those that you think you put it on target, you give yourselves an opportunity. He did not. In the end, Iran, and let's not forget about this. If that ball goes in, not only do they go through as first in the group. So that's how close this group actually was.
But they were, just briefly, they need somebody to take the pressure off Ronaldo, which might sound strange, but he needs somebody up there. It was Andre Silva today, plays for Milan, has had a struggle, wasn't great. It was Guedes in the first game, another youngster, been struggling. There's nobody really up there to take the pressure off him if he's getting marked out of the game.
It's quite extraordinary, really. Morocco to Spain 2. Spain coming from behind to get the draw. Diego Aspas getting the equaliser. Meanwhile, it finished Iran 1, Portugal 1. Iran had a chance late on as well to win it, and if they did, it would be them going through, not Portugal. But in the end, it is the two favourites to advance in Group B. This was crazy, Fred, wasn't it?
Well, it is when you think right down to the last couple of minutes that Iran could have won the group.
Yeah.
Iran could have won the group with Spain and Portugal, who are the current European champions. I think it's just typical of this World Cup.
Yeah.
This World Cup has generally not been boring. But there's something clearly something's not quite ticking with the Spanish side. Clearly, all the controversy of the coach being sacked on the start of the World Cup, but clearly, and I'm looking at the defence more than anything, clearly defensively, teams are getting a hatful of chances against them, and that's worrying for Spain.
This was kind of 2014 Spain, wasn't it? This is where we saw them crash out of the World Cup last time. They were not very good today at all.
No, and defensively, to Craig's point, the idea that from a throw-in you can go into a 1v1 situation and a clear chance for Morocco, you think to yourself, well, what's going on here? The fact that you can make a very, very strong argument that Gerard Piqué should have been thrown out of this game. He comes in two-footed. I have no idea how VAR doesn't intervene. I don't know how they don't tell the referee, hey, you might want to take a look at this play, because he's lunging, he studs up, he's showing the bottom of his shoes. For me, it's a red card. It's not given. And so then you expect Spain to start playing better. And they get back to the game 1-1, and you think that they're going to create chances. You think that they're going to be the better team, but it just wasn't the case. This was an even match, and one that could have gone either way. And as Morocco, they deserve something out of this game. They hit one off the post. What a great shot that was. Yep. Unfortunate not to score there. Eventually, they go up to 1, and it's Spain sort of hanging on, hoping that something happens in the end, and something does happen with a tremendous finish by Diego Aspas. But it shouldn't be this way. Not for Spain, not for this group of players, not for the sort of talent that they have. But they have their issues, and there's no question about that.
What's wrong with them, Shaq?
I just don't think they found their rhythm, or so you would think, or so it would seem. But at the same time, before I go on to criticize Spain, I think we've got to give both Morocco and Iran a lot of credit here. Morocco had absolutely no chance of getting out of the group, yet still both these teams get a point, and it's the absolute least they deserve. There are a couple of contentious red cards that could have gone against European giants, but it didn't. But at the same time, you just wonder if it's a closing of the gap between some of Europe's big boys and some of the others in world football. But at the same time, you expected a whole lot more from Spain. You just wondered, let's keep in mind that Spain didn't get out of the group 4 years ago, if lightning was about to strike twice.
Lots of people complaining about VAR. don't want to dwell on it too long. It was a lot of decisions in both games.
Yeah.
We'll get to them, but the PK one was a joke. Unless the laws of the game have changed, you can't two-foot anybody.
Sure.
It's a straight red, and how you can sit and miss that, I don't know. But it worries me with some of these VAR decisions. It does. I think it does add to the excitement for us sitting at home. I don't think it adds to the excitement for the people sitting in the stadium, because some of it takes too long. But certainly that changed the course of the game, or could have changed the course of the game with Spain down to 10 men, and then also for the fact that PK would have been suspended for a good part of the tournament after that. So quite frankly, it was a shocker.
Looking at it just from the footballing point of view, can Spain regroup? Can they get together? Because they weren't very good against Iran, conceded 3 against Portugal, and you could certainly argue we're lucky tonight.
Well, currently at the moment, you've got the Brazilians in fits and starts.
Yeah.
You've got the Germans that we don't know what German side is going to turn up. I can't even start with Argentina. Sure. England have gone well, but they're unlikely to go all the way. So yeah, they can. There is time. There is still time to regroup and get your basics right, because there are other teams, big countries. If we think about the real big countries who we expect to be at the end, they're all kind of having their issues at the moment. Belgium have looked great, but there's no real experience at the business end of a World Cup for them.
Let's not forget, they did come out of the group in first place.
Yep, very
having said everything that we have said about Spain, having seen individual performances that were underwhelming, in particular, I thought Thiago Alcantara was no good today. I think he's given an opportunity against a team in Morocco that you think you would have time and space. He didn't really impact the game. You put that all behind you if you're Spain. David De Gea, your mistakes, we put that behind us. Gerard Piqué not getting thrown out when you should have, we put that behind us. We're first in the group. So objective achieved.
Yeah.
It's just not quite the way that you thought it would be.
I thought Morocco were great.
Yeah, they were. They were done and dusted. They had nothing.
I mean,
to play
nothing to play for. But sometimes you throw out those cliches and that, and those words, pride and desire. But my God, they looked as if a big win. Yeah. If they could have hammered Spain, they looked as if they were still in the competition, could have went to the next stage.
The amazing thing for me is you talk about Morocco and how good they look today. Lost against Iran. Yeah. Rather ridiculously after dominating. Yep. Iran get a draw against Portugal, didn't have a shot on target up until today, yet could have gotten so much more. If these teams had just come out and played from the very first whistle, maybe, just maybe.
They did, Shaq. They played well against Iran, but Iran got another goal. They played well against Portugal, Morocco. In fact, there's an argument to say they've played as well as the team that are top of the group. But they've either not finished their teams off, or they've been done by the own goal, which has cost them, particularly in the first game.
It's a strange whole scenario for Mexico, isn't it? Despite the fact they've won their opening 2 matches, it is possible that they could be eliminated. In the group stages, a defeat against Sweden and other results going against them could see them going home early. For more, looking ahead to that big clash against the Swedes, let's go to 7 home.
Gentlemen, greetings from Ekaterinburg, a city that sits on the geographical line between Europe and Asia. Herc, we are a long way from Mexico's training base in Moscow, and yet, judging by the folks that were on our flight today, I have a sense that Mexico, come Wednesday night against the Swedes in their group phase finale, will once again be the, in air quotes, home team.
Yeah, listen, 40+ thousand in Leszniki versus Germany, about 30,000 versus South Korea. Sweden, the biggest game yet. We fully expect it to be another Mexican home crowd. You said it. It's one of the best supported national teams in this tournament. If you take out what is the Russian team, the home team, they have definitely made their presence felt.
Sweden is the opponent Wednesday. They're a very different team than South Korea, a very different team than Germany. We know the manager, Juan Carlos Osorio, likes his rotaciones, likes to make changes. Are there some guys we maybe haven't seen much of so far in this tournament that might be a good fit against the Swedes?
Well, I would argue Tecatito Corona, his ability to get in and out of things on the wings, but the way Carlos Vela is playing and the way Irving and Chucky Lozano are playing, it'll be very difficult to take one of those two guys off of their starting position. Other than that, I know this sounds crazy, but backup goalkeeper Alfredo Talavera may get a look. Juan Carlos Osorio is all about certain adjustments. If he thinks a player is better suited to, like the Swedes, who cross in the ball a lot, who make set pieces a priority, all of a sudden throw-ins are now a set piece weapon, this goalkeeper has some size to him. He's very good in the air. Something Memo Ochoa is not. I know this sounds crazy, but this is right in Juan Carlos Osorio's wheelhouse.
Would be a huge gamble, though, right?
Of course, of course. I mean, I don't think you can make any movements. They've been playing that well. There was one movement made from the Germany starting 11, and I thought it paid off. I thought Carlos Salcedo and Hector Moreno should be the central pairing. They are both very good in the air. Against the Swedes, you will need to combat that. And the rest were impeccable. So I wouldn't change it. But Juan Carlos Osorio, he has that about him. He's going to throw us for a loop. Don't be surprised if Alfredo Talavera is the starting goalkeeper come the game time.
I think it's worth noting, it's been pretty hot at some of these games that we've been covering.
Yes.
And I think of a guy like Andres Guardado, who has been critical to this team, and yet he had an operation just a couple weeks before this tournament. He wasn't 90 minutes fit. Is asking him to start, no matter how much you want to start with the same 11 that's been pretty productive, a big risk in and of itself?
Of course. He came out minute 74 the first game, minute 62 the second game. They said that he had this procedure done. You don't do a procedure pre-World Cup. It's not absolutely necessary. There is something there. He's not 100% fit. We saw Rafa Marquez come in twice for him. I would be surprised if he can go 90 minutes.
Mexican national team will arrive in Ekaterinburg tonight. Their final training session tomorrow before Wednesday's decisive match against Sweden.
Group D is going to be pretty bonkers tomorrow. Quite extraordinary the way in which it's all played out. All four teams, of course, Croatia already through. The three remaining sides all have the possibility to advance. It's Argentina against Nigeria. If Argentina beat Nigeria and Iceland fail to beat Croatia, then it will be Argentina going through. But other results could see Lionel Messi and the Argentina squad going home early. So much talk in the Argentinian press about what Sampaoli is going to do. So I made you Sampaoli, Anna.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
And this is the 11 you think he should go with.
Yes, and so first of all, I'm going away from that back three because I don't think Argentina knew what in the world they were doing on the field. So I'm going to give with a back four with Mercado, Tamendi, Rojo, and Tagliafico. And those are the players that I have available. Mascherano will be in the midfield. He'll sit in behind. Vanega will help some defensively, but also will provide some help offensively with some creative activities in the final third. As for Salvio and Di Maria, just give me an outlet down the right-hand side and the left-hand side. Please stay wide. Give us some space to work so that Messi can operate underneath Kun Agüero.
There you are.
And by the way, you see
Willie coming out?
Oh, yes. How could I forget? Willie Caballero, you're out. Well, he deserved it. Sorry, he deserved it.
I mean, let's be honest. The team that Sampaoli picked for the last game, they didn't know if they were having a dinner or having a haircut. I mean, honestly, they were so...
Two very similar.
They were so bad. That's how bad they were. I mean, they made all these good players that they had, and I mentioned them, Otamendi, Aguero, Messi, they made them all look average in that side. So, in fact, the very fact that he's picking the team, if indeed he is picking the team again, is amazing.
I am.
Well, no, but when he eventually picks the team for this game, I thought the Argentinian FA would have bombed them out before the last game. That's how bad it's been. But they haven't, and let's see where it takes them.
Shaka, you got Nigeria winning this game.
Yeah, 1-0. I'm giving you a score and everything.
Yeah, what?
My issue with Argentina is they already have their scapegoat in Sampaoli. And I think for Argentina to advance in this group, to get the better Nigeria, they needed to get rid of him. They needed to get rid of their excuse. Because as long as he's there, they have that. And I just don't see how the mood improves in that dressing room from the last game to this one enough that they can somehow put together a result. I just don't see it.
Let's just say that the mood improves enough, as you were talking about. Let's just say that somehow they're able to forget what just happened, which is impossible to forget. But let's just say they've turned the page, right? Okay. Tactically speaking, all I want from that group that I put out there is Di Maria, run up and down the left flank.
Yeah.
Salvio, run up and down the right-hand side. Give us some width so that there is space for Messi to work underneath so that then he can get on the ball in the attacking half. Not receiving the ball from center backs, not receiving the ball from Mascherano, but receiving it in the attacking half where he can make decisions and Agüero can run off a defender. If you do that just a few times on the field, it does give the opportunity to the best player in the world to do something magical. It's going to take some magic because this team is all over the place. I'm trusting Argentina simply because I trust Messi, and that's about it.
But you're trusting your team that you picked.
Hey,
what the hell he's going to do, nobody knows.
But of course, it could be a fair
point.
They could beat Nigeria, and still, if Iceland beat Croatia, who are already through, then it doesn't matter what Argentina. Is that a possibility? Could Iceland?
Yes, because they beat them in the qualifying campaign. Well, they topped the group ahead of Croatia. It was one apiece in the games. Iceland won in Iceland, Croatia won in Croatia. And then the Croatian coach said he was going to make changes.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm sure the changes he's going to make are still going to be decent enough players. But the emphasis for them has kind of changed somewhat, especially after that dramatic win over Argentina. So it is possible, but I could see a draw in that game. I don't see Iceland beating Croatia.
Right, goal difference and tiebreaks, of course, could all come into play. We could be drawing lots. Who knows, Shaka? Who's going through? Nigeria?
Nigeria and Croatia.
Croatia, Argentina.
Croatia, Argentina.
We know that France are through, Peru are out. It's all about, of course, Denmark or Australia. It's France against Denmark. If Denmark lose and Australia beat Peru and there's enough goal swing, then it will be Australia going through and not Denmark. Let's welcome Julien Laurent into the show, shall we? Jules, you take a look at this, and France, despite the fact they're through, despite the fact they're top, they haven't exactly been setting the world alight. So what can we expect from this side against Denmark tomorrow?
Yeah, you're right. I mean, they've improved between the first and the second game, but what we can expect tomorrow is a lot of changes. That's the paradox of it, is that Deschamps is going to change 6 players out of the starting 11 that won against Peru last week. No Lloris, for example, no Pogba, no Mbappe, no Matuidi either, with fresh legs, Sidibé, Lemar, Dembele coming back in the team as well, and Zonzi making his World Cup debut for France, Kimpembe as well at the back. So, you know, half of a brand new team for France. Will that stop the momentum? That's the question. Deschamps says he wants to finish top of the group. A draw is enough for them to do that. There's this stat as well that every time France beat Denmark in a group stage of a big competition, they end up winning it, 84, 98, 2000. And maybe Deschamps will see an omen there. You know, I had to say this one. But yeah, a lot of changes, which I'm still a bit sceptical about it.
Hey, they win, give them the World Cup now, clearly. That's fine, done and dusted.
Well, it's already given to England, isn't it?
Well, yes, that's a different matter. We played some good opposition.
It's such a great start, it's been. But no, I mean, Jules mentioned, you know, if he makes half a dozen changes, some of the players that he's bringing in are very good quality.
Yes.
You know, you talk about the full-backs, you talk about Nzonzi coming in. He's a player who a lot of Premier League clubs would take back to the Premier League if he wanted to leave Spain. Dembele, you know, with the pace. I mean, it is a squad rich in talent, which is one of the frustrations so far in the tournament, is why it's been successful for them, but it's not been as aesthetically pleasing as I think the French would like.
Is it the right choice? Would you not want to stick with a strong starting 11 just to give them another chance?
I would. I would stick with my strongest 11. As much as well as they've done in terms of winning their games, I don't think they've looked great. And if they want to go a whole lot deep in this tournament, I think they've got to improve. And this is an opportunity, without any real pressure, to get your best team playing and taking another significant step forward in that direction. I think Deschamps is missing a trick here.
But that's exactly the point, Shaka, is that I don't think Didier Deschamps knows what his best 11 is, what his strongest 11 is. And so if you're just kind of throwing shots in the dark and hoping that something sticks, then it's a sort of approach that he feels, or he seems to have taken over the last few competitions. We go back to the Euros, it was the same thing, making changes in and out. Eventually they got to the final, fail in the final, they get to here the group stage. You would have thought that he would have learned from it, that the players would have learned from it, and we still see inconsistency. So I just don't even know what to expect from Didier Deschamps, because I don't think he knows what to expect from himself and from his players. And that is a tricky place to be.
Meanwhile, of course, in the other game, it's Australia against Peru. Peru, as I mentioned, are out. Australia still a little bit of a lifeline. Is it going to be as simple as that? They'll get the win against Peru?
Think when I think Peru, I also think sort of Morocco, a team that were capable, played some good stuff, but found themselves, as Morocco did, in the final game with nothing to play for. And clearly, for those that watched the game against Spain, they were way better than that. And by the way, they were better than Portugal in their game against Portugal, and didn't win that one as well. And I kind of think Peru are a little bit like that. They penned the French back from 60 minutes onwards. They missed some good chances. They're big, they're powerful, they're quick. And I think they're way more talented than the Aussies. So I don't see Australia getting what they need to go through.
I think Peru leaving this tournament without anything to show for it would be an embarrassment. I think they go out there to get all 3 points. And I think they can. I think this is a better team than the table suggests.
Who goes through?
Who goes through? France and Denmark.
Julian, away from the World Cup, obviously you're in Russia covering it for us. A lot of rumours going around at the moment about the future of Kylian Mbappe. Of course, initially was on loan, wasn't he, to PSG? Many thought that it would just happen this summer. He would make that move official. Yet some speculation now, because of problems with financial fair play, that PSG may not be his final destination.
Yeah, I'm not sure where those stories are coming from because there's no truth in it. So PSG have bought him. He's a PSG player now, and yes, there's financial fair play, but PSG need to sell for around 60 million euros before the end of the month to be all okay for at least this year with FFP, and they're almost doing that. Javier Pastore is going to go to Roma for 24 million euros. Yuri Beršić is going to go to Athletic Bilbao for around 20 million euros, and Odsonne Edouard, the young striker, has gone to Celtic Glasgow for around 10 million euros. So in terms of sales, they're done, they're all in the clear and everything. And Kylian Mbappe doesn't want to leave, they don't want to sell him for sure. So there's nothing in it at all. He will be a PSG player next season for sure.
Julian Aron, thank you very much for clearing that up. Just a reminder, ESPN FC with you throughout the World Cup. We are now exclusively on ESPN+. Hello and welcome to Extra Time. What a day in the old World Cup.
Hey. Hope tomorrow's like it.
It's brilliant, wasn't it? Tomorrow will.
I mean, at least, sat in that room where we sit.
Yep, lots of people in that room today.
It was crowded.
It was.
Don't make it sound like a dungeon.
Well, it was very...
Are we making it sound like a
We're just
dungeon?
all sitting in that room with all those
we were.
people.
Well, there was a lot of people in our room today.
Don't
There
make
was
it sound
people
like
in
a
that room.
dungeon.
You were sat very...
You were sat in Nichols' seat. There was people in that room that shouldn't have been in that room. There was people that...
You want some security on the door?
There was a rather large Scottish gentleman sort of floating behind me, and it wasn't Steve Nichols.
Away from the World Cup, Craig, how did you enjoy the golf tournament on Sunday?
I didn't spend, as I said to you, I didn't spend too long there.
No?
I went for about 3 hours, and then I scurried home before the traffic to try and catch the end of it, to see Paul Casey winning.
Ah, yes.
Or not.
Oh,
as the case
dear.
may be.
Well,
But
that worked out.
it's a lovely one. I mean, down there at the Travellers is great.
You go around getting autographs from your favourite players?
I was disguised. Oh, sorry, did I get autographs?
Oh, yeah. What about you getting autographs?
Hold on. You can't just brush that aside.
I'm right here.
No.
I'm right here.
I don't know this guys.
Please.
I go
So many
incognito.
questions,
I go
short at a time.
I go incognito, right? I'm not like that. And no, I don't chase players for autographs. And I don't tweet players. And I don't tweet celebrities.
Oh, why not?
And sports celebrities, I don't do it. But there's some who do. Or people do, they tag them, think as if they're going to respond to them.
They will. Nice to know support.
You know the ones. You know the ones.
I know we're still in the group
That
stages,
was
but
very
this has to be one of the best World Cups ever so far. Thoughts?
Yes.
Yeah, it has been good. Hasn't it?
That has been good.
Yeah,
A lot of upsets, a lot of drama.
yes. But could that be bad going forward?
Yeah, well, there's going to be 48
Why?
teams. Enjoy it while you can.
Well, like if Argentina don't qualify, then Argentina aren't there. It's not quite as exciting, is it?
Well,
It's like
Why?
It's like when Portsmouth and Cardiff made it to the final.
Once again,
FA Cup.
if you get through, it's because you deserve to. We had this discussion with Italy and all US. Oh, it'd be lesser tournament because they're not there. No, it's not. If you're not there, it's because you don't deserve to be there.
Wait a minute, you're saying that this is one of the best tournaments without Italy being a part of it and without the US being a part of it?
Yeah.
Oh, controversy. And the Dutch.
They should. It
And
was, it was
Chile.
up to them.
Oh, yeah.
They had the opportunity to qualify. They didn't. That's their fault.
Without Venezuela?
Well,
Tell you what, let's enjoy this one.
Yeah, it has been good.
It's been brilliant.
Because when it gets to 48 teams, and that's, I believe, is that Qatar 2022?
no, 2026.
All right, 2026. Enjoy this in the next one then.
Right. Next
be
one's going to be at winter.
Don't enjoy it then.
Well, no, I'm just saying.
When it gets to 48, it's going to be diluted.
I don't know if Shaq is going to be around by the time we get to 2026.
What's wrong with him? Health-wise,
He's in his late 40s.
Hold on.
we could be retired as a 401k.
There was a guy my age playing today.
Well, that says something about you then.
As my age.
Not really your age, Shaq.
Mid-40s.
No. You've gone past mid-40s and moved on.
What
Mid-40s.
can you do for your 50th, Shaq?
Well, that's a long time away.
Well, obviously.
But a lot of time to plan.
I gotta say, it's before the next World Cup, I'll tell you that much.
Well,
You'll be 60 by the next one.
before the 48 team will.
Don't be deceived by his good looks.
You're an old man. I don't know if I can work with you, old man.
What do you make of Morocco's performance at the World Cup? It seems they lacked luck in every game they played.
I thought they played well. They outplayed Iran, which wasn't a surprise, but then they outplayed Portugal. Didn't get the job done. Played some good stuff, and then played some great stuff against Spain.
Yeah.
Played some good stuff, but are out. I mean, that's the bottom line.
Okay, I think that's it.
Okay.
Is that enough
All
for
right.
that now?
All right. Yeah.
You going back to the yard goats now?
Pun?
Nothing.
What?
John.
Oh.
ESPN FC back tomorrow. You here tomorrow, Annie?
Yes,
Yeah?
I am.
Yeah? Correct.
Nope. I'm not here.
Oh, yeah, you're on the early show.
I'm on the early show.
Oh, there we go. But we will be here, of course, to break it down. You can see us exclusively on ESPN.